Hey, remote honors geometry kids. So this is just a quick video explaining what I explained to the other cohorts in person. You have a big assignment on the horizon. It's this algebra review packet. So the assumption is that since you all are honors geometry students, you should be cream of the crop algebra students. So the expectation is that you all have really strong Algebra 1 skills, and we will work to maintain those all year. But for now, you have this algebra review packet to complete as an assignment for this class, and it will count as a quiz grade. So all of the rules relating to this assignment are typed up right here, but I just want to go through them with you in this video as well. So all of your final answers are going to be submitted on this online platform called Edulastic, which I'll show you in a second. So even though you're inputting all your final answers online, I do also want to see your handwritten work for every problem that's marked with a star, which is almost every single problem. So even if you have inputted the correct answer into Edulastic, you're not going to get credit for it unless I can see your own handwritten work. So that's really important. There are two parts to this assignment: the answers that you input online with Edulastic, and then the handwritten work. Decimals aren't allowed, so write all your final answers as simplified improper fractions. And then this is really important. So this is an assignment that you are welcome to do with friends. So if you have a friend that's also in my class and you want to get together after school and do it together, be my guest. If you have a sibling that's really good at math and you want their help on this packet, go right ahead. So you can use any resource that you possibly want. What you can't do is just blindly copy from your friend. So you can't be like, oh no, this packet's due in 1 hour and I have no idea how to solve a system. Can I copy your page on solving systems? That is not allowed. You really have to understand every single thing that you write down. So if you want to do it with a friend and they explain to you how to solve a system and then you understand it and then you do the problem together, that's okay. All right. So pretty much if I ask you, hey, can you explain to me your work here? How did you do this? You need to be able to answer that question. All right. It's normally pretty obvious when students blindly copy from each other, and you don't want to get caught doing that because you would get a 0. Okay. The same goes for using online resources. If you want to do this math yourself and then check all of your answers online, for example, there's a graphing section on this, graph it by hand using your knowledge from Algebra 1, and then check all of your answers on Desmos. That's fine. But just make sure that you're understanding what you write down. So you can't just blindly copy some website solution and expect to get credit for it. So use online resources more to check your work as opposed to like to figure out how to do it. So I know it might seem like kind of a blurry line between what working together is and what cheating is. If you have any questions, let me know. Pretty much just ask yourself, could I explain my thinking to Miss Coffin? And if you couldn't, it's cheating and you need to rethink that. So, like I said, this is going to count for a quiz grade, and I'm going to grade it kind of harshly, meaning that every correct answer will earn you 1 point, and every incorrect answer will earn you 0 points. This is not normally how I grade. Normally, I give abundant amounts of partial credit. But since I'm letting you use any resource in the whole world to complete this review packet, I do expect perfection. Okay? So if you do the whole problem correct and then the very last step you drop a negative sign, you won't get credit for that problem. All right? It has to be entirely correct in order to receive the point. So the only reason I'm saying that is just to stress the fact that you need to do a good job on this and you need to check your work as much as you can. Okay, so here is the packet, which is already uploaded to my Google Classroom. If you have a printer at home and you want to print it out, that would be great. You'll notice that this section is kind of like, there's like a gray section in back. That's because you don't have to show your work here. All right, you're just going to submit your final answers on Edulastic. I grade it out so you don't feel like you have to write in work. But then every other problem that doesn't have gray, is going to have one of these asterisks, and that means you need to show your work. So ideally, you'll print this out and do your work on this. If you don't have a printer, again, you can do it on a separate sheet. I just think it's easier to keep it organized if you can print it out and do it on this. Right, so every problem pretty much has a star. So I need to see your work for every problem. These ones I don't need to see your work for. So any ones that aren't starred and have that gray background, you don't need to show your work, but you can see most of them. I do want to see your work. All right. So when this is due for your class, it will be due by the time we virtually meet on October 16th. You will have completed all these questions and all the questions with stars. I'll be able to see your work. But then you also will have submitted your answers on Edulastic. So I already provided the link to access this on Edulastic. Let me pull up question 1. We'll view it as a student. View as a student. You'll notice these questions match exactly the questions that are on that PDF that I uploaded. So you're entering your final answers here on this online platform, but I'll still be able to see your handwritten work on the paper version. Okay, so in order to get credit for a question, not only do you have to input it correctly here on Edulastic, but I also need to see that your work on the handwritten section is correct. Okay. So on October 16th, you're going to do 2 things, or hopefully before October 16th. You're going to submit all your answers on Edulastic here, and then you're going to also take pictures of all your handwritten pages and upload all of those pictures to Google Classroom. Okay? If there's any questions about the expectations for this algebra review packet, please email me. Just a warning, it is a fair amount of work. Every year, a handful of students start this the morning of, and they end up kind of screwing themselves and getting a really bad grade, and then they spend the rest of the quarter trying to make up for that one poor quiz grade. Okay, so this does count. It kind of counts for a lot. I'm letting you use every resource, so it's kind of like there's no excuse for not getting a perfect score on this. Please take it seriously. Please try your best. The last thing that I want to point out, if you go to my Google Classroom and you actually click on the classwork here, instructions, I figure that some of you might be having a hard time with some of this algebra since you learned it last spring during the shutdown. And I want to hold you accountable for the information, but I also want to help you. So I have created videos on how to solve a system, how to factor a quadratic trinomial, and how to factor a quadratic binomial, which are all topics in that algebra review packet. So if you get to those topics and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, watch my YouTube videos, okay? You're also welcome to email me and ask for help if you don't have friends or siblings that could help you as well. All right, so that's all I have to say about the algebra review packet. Please start it early, make it scholarly, do a good job, start off the quarter with a 100. All right, email me with questions.